26-year-old Shyla Roden may be the most unlucky woman in the entire Southern Hemisphere. She was in critical condition yesterday, but I think I've read in the last 24 hours she has been upgraded miraculously to serious condition at hospital in Melbourne after a horrific roller coaster accident over the weekend. She was not riding the coaster. She was hit by it. Ooh. Shyla was on the track trying to pick up her cell phone that had dropped. I think from what my understanding is, and there's video of this because someone was shooting video of, I think, a niece or a little daughter, riding the same ride. And from the still photos that I have seen, you can see Shyla on the track as the train is doing a loop-to-loop. Ooh. And it threw her 9 meters into the air, which is 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I mean, it threw her 30 feet into the air, and then she landed.
Yeah.
The whole thing was... She, according to her family, she has multiple broken bones. Pelvis, arms, legs, back, neck, as well as brain damage. Yeah. And in January of 21, it's not the first time Shyla has been severely injured. In January of 21, the same woman was ejected from a car after it ran into a truck and a car in Melbourne.
Well, good
She
Lord.
had just learned to walk again.
Oh,
that she went to the fair.
Really horrible, isn't it? I mean, it's terrible. But how did she even get onto the track on a roller coaster? You know,
that's a good question.
That should be all away. You'd think. You'd think that would never happen, but. I mean, in this case, it did. That's really bad.
I think she and a friend of hers was working one of the booths at the fair. Mm-hmm. They had some downtime, so the two decided to ride a ride, and I guess that's when her phone came loose.
Maybe because the woman was working the booth, she had access to get her on the track somehow.
Could be.
But I'll tell you what. And you know what happens if that happens?
No.
They sweep it away, so you never see it. They get you.
Oh yeah, you'll never know.
A friend of mine read a book about Disney. I didn't read it, but he said if there's an accident at Disney, first of all, it almost always happens where the person should not be, and they take you below decks and treat you.
Do they?
You don't. Nobody sees it.
What do they do about the? But someone must. I mean, what do they do with all the other park visitors? They give them that Men in Black pen thingy.
That's right. They take them below deck too. You don't
erase their memories.
Take them downstairs and Grumpy get them.
That's right.
Everybody disappears.
All gone.
Sick Grumpy on them.
I bet they just sweep them away quick. They go, oh look, there's a sale over here in the gift shop.
Hey, is that Mickey?
Yeah.
Mickey shows up in the midway.
Then the wall flips.
Absolutely. Never see that at Disney. Apparently people have been electrocuted in an area where a high voltage area where they shouldn't be, and they get the body out of there immediately. That's Disney for you. That's how it's done.
Got to protect the shield.
That's right.
That's why they're the best.
The best.
You think they have a division there that's morticians?
Yeah, down below. They sew you up.
It's all down below.
Take care of it.
What are they? Do they ship you out in some mouse-shaped casket?
Yes.
So no one notices.
Nobody knows, and
it's an ice cream truck going to get refilled.
Take out of
Has
there.
to leave the.
It's refrigerated.
That's exactly right.
It's refrigerated.
Disney Ryan is a big friend of this program. He heard me recently complaining about the price at Disney, and I said I might go back to Dollywood before I would go to Disney, and he said, "Hey, more room for me then." Fine. Oof. He was very upset. I mean, you could tell. Mm-hmm. He's like, "How dare you abandon Disney?" And he's like, "I guess you go to that redneck holler up in Tennessee, and there'll be more room for me at the most magical place on earth, which is Disney World."
I'll let you dodge the bears.
Okay, fair enough.
You did have to dodge bears.
I did have to do all of that. You're
That's
right.
fun though. Dodging bears.
Yeah, Dollywood. It was great.
Yeah,
I had a good time.
Too spendy the other place, man.
I said that, and Disney Ryan
tickets. You got to drive or fly.
Well, and the ticketing is so expensive. It really is. And he said, "What do you expect? It's so great. They charge you so much now."
Yeah, you're almost in another world.
You are. It transports you to a land where you just forget about everything else.
Your cares, your worries.
They melt away.
How long would it take to go on every ride in there if you wanted to go on vacation? Not just in Disney, but in the Epcot.
The whole property?
Yeah, everything.
Oh, a week. I mean, it would
a whole week, 7 days.
Someone must have done this.
I'm sure.
Are there any lines? Do I have to wait in lines?
Well, let's say you can get the highest grade available to a regular human.
Well, if you're talking like celebrity, like Tom Hanks
No,
treatment.
not like that. The most that you could afford, which would be the top of the line. So what would that be?
You have a fast pass to everything.
Yeah.
He just wound me up.
A little shade.
Did you hear that? There's a little shade there. Like I've got a lot of money.
Not a superstar.
Yeah.
Not a superstar.
Yeah, just regular human with lots of cash.
Well, did you hear that? Are you going to
did it again?
Are you going to stand there?
Yeah, I am.
I think take more than a week. I mean, if you really want to do every single ride, because the waits on some are hours.
Because what's it? Disney, Epcot, or Magic Kingdom, Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
Is the animal thing?
Animal
Is that
Animal
separate?
Animal King. Oh yeah, Animal Kingdom, and then
Is there a studio?
Hollywood Studios.
What about
Okay.
Tomorrowland? Is that still a thing?
Well, that's in
that
Magic
is
Kingdom.
part of one of them. Yeah.
Where's
And
the Avatar?
That's over in Animal Kingdom. That's where the
So
Avatar.
those 4 parks,
Uh-huh.
it'll take 7 days to do every ride.
I think more than. I really do.
Really?
They have so much
Like
there.
during park hours?
If you don't want to do it during park hours, I do. If you're really waiting in line, because you only get a couple of fast passes a day.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the time you're waiting. And it takes a long, long time to get through it all.
That's the thing. That's the thing that always gets me is people will wait
Mhm.
to go
Oh,
there,
yeah.
to get into town and spend the money and then wait.
I probably at Disney, like Magic Kingdom, for instance, they always have like 2 or 3 rides I really like. Space Mountain is in Magic Kingdom. There's a couple others. But then there are probably 20 rides I don't even touch.
But don't you feel like you're wasting time? Like you've already done that before? I've already been on that before. I was on that last time. Do I want to wait another hour and a half instead of going to getting on something new and spending my hour and a half wait on
But there
that?
are really only about 3 or 4 that are worth the ride, in my mind. I mean, little kids, for instance, what's the one? It's a Small World.
Teacups, Small World.
All of those, you can do that at the county fair.
Okay.
Okay, and the little kids like It's a Small World, but Space Mountain,
Hall of Presidents.
I do Hall of Presidents. Even that's a long wait. I mean, everything is
really?
a wait. Yes,
And you can't do the teacups at the county fair.
Biggie's correct.
Now you're winding me up.
That's pretty specialized.
I'm sorry, you're right, but there are little rides here and there that you can do.
Sure.
Little carnival type.
I think
rides.
it's like once you do them, you can say I did them.
The point is, there's a ton of rides, and there are about 3 to 4 in each park that are really worth. Let's go in
And
there.
some of
and
them
do
are
it.
geared towards the princesses, aren't they? Like
Oh,
the
yes.
teacups,
Oh.
isn't that the one the princesses stand there and ride with the kids?
I think the princesses. I think the girls have a better experience in Disney than the boys because it is a lot of princess stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Getting your hair done and all that. I spent 6 hours doing that one day.
Getting your hair done?
Yeah, my daughter wasn't born yet. Timothy, you're talking about Disney now. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I'm people listener. 2020, I went down there with my daughter for their after honeymoon, and I actually called Biggie because I was to see our show over streaming, and during COVID, and it was a ghost town. We decided that one day to hit all 4 corners of the park. We were able to do that. We rode rides with no wait time whatsoever the entire day. Everything 2 to 3 times. For example, I told Biggie, we ran one ride. We never got off for an hour. We got over the ride. Said, can we ride it again? We stood up, unbuckled our belt, buckled back up, and rode it again 3 more times consecutively. Never got off the ride. We rode the Avatar ride 3 times that day. No wait time.
Wow.
Best day of your life?
That's phenomenal.
We felt like a movie star, and I said, I'll never experience this again. And I was sore the next day, but I said, we're going to do it like we're 18 again. We're going to ride every ride 2 or 3 times.
That's magical.
What an
Now
experience.
that is magical.
It is.
Especially that Avatar ride. That's what I told you. I saw a gentleman of size being taken off that ride, which was very difficult. Thank you very much, Timothy.
You shading Biggie back?
You picking up on this, Big?
I want to draw just a note for Big. I'm glad you're here to hear this. If you go to Disney, don't try the Avatar ride because you wait. They let you wait in line the entire time, and then a gentleman of size I saw carted off there, and he was mad, boy, because he had waited in line hours and then got in there, and they said, "Oh, you can't."
Did they cattle prod them? That's what they've done to me before.
There's no Disney goons that go up and down the line and say, "Hey, Chubbo, get out of you're wasting your time."
No, and
No, because now everything you should know.
well, he didn't, and when he got in the seat, they tried to press it forward, and he didn't fit.
You know, I'll tell you, Disney especially, they'll put seats outside the ride now. Like, hey,
Yeah,
sit in this tubbo.
they will. They will.
I mean, you should know. I will look at something and I go, nah, I ain't
That's
gonna
what
do
the sign says above it.
Did they at least sell you a souvenir photograph of that? You failing to get into the ride.
Hold 1 second,
Somebody
sir.
guiding you away from the ride.
I can't get it to harness.
Got it. All right, get out.
We got you.
Yeah.
Go on, get your Dole Whip.
You want a couple copies of this?
We'll sell you this.
Come on. Who's the next big one in line?
Here's a T-shirt. I almost got on Space Mountain.
I don't feel bad for him.
Sorry, all we had was 3X.
I felt bad for that guy. Because the Avatar ride, here's another thing about that. It doesn't really move. I mean, it jostles you a little bit. I bet you could do it just sitting in a regular chair because you feel like you're moving, but you're not. That's how they do it there. But of course,
That's the magic.
You do buckle in. It's amazing. I mean, it's one of those where you put the glasses
They don't want
on.
you coming loose.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's not like a roller coaster. It's like basically you sit and then you do move a little bit, but it's not roller coaster like. Yeah, all that is true. And then I told you that the guy at Dollywood told me I couldn't ride because I was too tall. And I said, come on, can we bend those rules a little? And he said, well, if you want to, it'll shear your feet off. Your feet will be sheared off.
We got branches.
Go ahead, sir.
He said, go ahead. He goes, do you want to keep your feet? And I said, well,
Look down in that gorge.
I probably
see all them
see all
shoes.
the feet.
See all them shoes down there? Those are people's feet.
Those are feet.
They're still feeding them.
That's true. A lot of stumps walking around.
It's great at Halloween.
The Eagle. Oh, yeah. That's the Eagle Express at Dollywood. Austin, you're talking about Disney now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd consider myself a Disney expert. My wife and I, we were annual pass holders for a couple years. I've been probably 60 times in the past 2 years, and my wife's also a travel agent. But I wanted to answer the question on how quickly you could do all the rides if you really wanted to.
Right.
They offer what they call the VIP tour, and it costs several $100s per person per day, but you'll have a cast member walk you around to every single ride, let you front everybody in the ride, and you can just do everything as quickly as possible if you have enough money.
Now, that's see, when Dave said that, I had heard about that.
Okay, that's it.
But let's just say you're a regular guy. That's what Dave was saying. I mean, I can't afford that. I can't afford to pay $1,000 per person to go to every ride. So let's just say you've got a couple of fast passes, but you're there in the park and it's 85% capacity, like it always seems to be when I'm there. I don't think you can do it in a day, every ride in one park. Do you?
No, not really. You can. Certain parks, Animal Kingdom you can, Hollywood Studios if you're lucky, but Magic Kingdom definitely not.
No, too much.
As an expert, what is the, do you have like most overrated or underrated attractions?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say some of the newer ones are a bit overrated. The new Star Wars ride is great the first time you ride it, but it's hardly worth riding again. It's based on like the new Star Wars movies,
Yeah.
And then some of the classics can be underwhelming too. It just depends on what you're into.
Which one do you find? Do you find Space Mountain underwhelming? I think my kids liked it, but didn't love it like I do.
No, I definitely love Space Mountain. The newest ride that they just opened, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, I would say is a sequel to Space Mountain.
Yes.
And it's incredible. You truly feel like you're flying. It's the best ride there.
Someone told me that is an amazing ride. It's like Space Mountain, but now you can tell how far they've come in the 50 years or 40 years since Space Mountain opened. Yeah, that it's just amazing.
Now you're talking yourself back into going.
Listen to me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Listen to me.
You
Now
got that gleam back in your eye.
because they are always adding something.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That's
Austin.
how they get you.
Appreciate it, Austin. That's true.
Buy that
won't do
super
it, though.
VIP.
No, it's too expensive. I looked
You
into
said
it.
it's $700 a person.
But that's $3,000.
Who you kidding? Buy it.
But that's one park.
Buy it.
You're winding me up.
You're only going to live once.
This is a wind up.
What else? You can't take it with you.
You're overrated. I'm an expert. You're overrated.
Well, then buy me the VIP.
No, I know. I cannot.
I can't wait till the spring when we're comparing the Guardians of the Galaxy ride to Cooter's Runaway Rail Car from Dollywood. That's all very similar.
Is that the ride that's got branches?
Yeah. Oh, just shear your feet right off. Bobby, you're talking about Disney now. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. 1970, I was 10 years old. My parents took us there, and the tickets were $7.
Right.
You got a book of a certain amount of rides. This was even before Space Mountain. You had the steeplechase, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Haunted Mansion. This was even, it was before Space Mountain.
Right.
So the prices definitely have gone up since then.
No doubt.
Now I graduated boot camp. I graduated boot camp in Orlando in 1980, and my whole family came up for the graduation. We had a day at Disney. My older sister brought a doobie and her and I smoked it in the Haunted Mansion as we were going through there. So I've got some history at Disney.
Yeah. I bet back then you could probably smoke on the rides.
Probably. Not a doobie.
Not a doobie.
Well, no, maybe not that, but maybe you should smoke a cigarette.
Who was the guy? Thank you very much, Bobby. He played Spider-Man once. He's in the movie about Facebook.
Oh, Garfield?
Andrew Garfield. He told a story once.
Played him twice.
Yeah, played Spider-Man twice.
Actually, 3 times if you count the newest.
He's right. You know more about Spider-Man than I do. I read a great account. He said one of the best days he ever had, he went with his girlfriend high to Disney World. Mm-hmm. And they just high as kites and smoked one in It's a Small World. And he said it's so much a better ride if you're high.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
If you've got good stuff.
He had the best.
Of course he would.
He and his girlfriend went, and he said, this was amazing. And he said, when you're high in that ride, it's like you don't want to get off of it.
Yeah.
Because they're all like cheering and everything. You know how they do.
It's intense.
And It's a Small world. Anyhow, I told Disney, Ryan, Disney still has magic to me, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
But, I bet you we wind up going one more time with the kids.
One more time.
One more time. I wouldn't doubt it.
Bring your edibles.
You think your kid's going to get in college and he's going to come home to go with you to that?
I think he might.
You think he might?
He likes it a lot. I did hear that people are, because of the price, are trying to sneak in their kids now who are actually 6 or 7 years old. They'll make them ball up real small into a stroller and throw a blanket over them and just see the little
their
top
long
of
legs.
Yeah, and say, close your eyes. And Disney employees are like, well, we know it, but we're told just ignore it. Don't make a scene. It's kind of like Walmart when somebody steals from them. It's like, all right, let them in for whatever price.
We know our tickets are expensive. Let them in.
Yeah, that's really going on.